Hi guys, and thanks for stopping by and watching this video today. Today I want to talk about why most therapy sucks. That might sound weird coming from me, a clinical psychologist, a therapist of over 20 plus years, and I've helped over 30,000 people. And I'm telling you that most therapy sucks? Well, stick around a little bit. Maybe you'll agree with me. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I believe that most therapy sucks, and maybe some ideas on how we can make it less sucky. Okay, now that I have your attention, I want to explain something here. I'm coming to you today talking about why therapy sucks, and I'm coming to you with an informed opinion. I've been in the business for well over 22 years, seeing people from all walks of life for all sorts of issues. Now, a lot of these people come to me after having seen previous therapists. They've seen 2, 3, 4 therapists, and they determined that it's just not going to work. I've had people come to me and they've seen one therapist and it's terrible. I've had people have therapists ghost them. I've had people who've had therapists that blame them for the therapist falling asleep in the session with them. How crazy is that? That's what's out there, unfortunately. And this day and age, we now have accessible therapy that anyone can do online with anyone around the world. That's not making it better in my mind. That's making it worse. But I'll talk about that in another video at another time. Today, I just want to talk in general about why therapy sucks. And so that's where I'm coming from. I'm coming from an opinion where I've had to be the therapist to help undo some of the damage that other therapists have done. I have to be the one to be there and be present with the client and listen to them for the first time in their life because other therapists were too lazy to do that or they weren't working hard for that client. That's my opinion. Other therapists may disagree. Keep in mind also, for over 20 plus years, I've been training therapists who are building their own private practices and training them on how to do a better job of it, how to get more referrals, how to get more clients in, and how to help more people. Okay, so reason number 1, I think that most therapy sucks is because of what I call therapist variables. What does that mean? Well, look at it this way. A lot of you chose your therapist based on, number 1, price. They were cheap. They were only $30 an hour. Or you chose them because they only do online stuff and you don't want to do your therapy in person because that's scary to you. Okay. Or you chose them because they're on your insurance plan and that's the only way you're going to choose a therapist. Right? Or here, you chose them because they're female and you're female. And of course, that's the only kind of therapist you can see is a female therapist who costs $30 an hour and who has a cat just like you. That is the reason that most therapy sucks, people. You should be choosing your therapist based on competency. You should be choosing your therapist based on referrals. Other people have gone to them and have gotten better working with them. You should not be choosing them based on price or because they are on your insurance plan. Your insurance company, red alert, does not have your best interests in mind. They have therapists on their panels that agree to a certain fee to see people they send their way. That's it. It's just an agreement. That's all. It doesn't really have to do with getting better outcomes. It doesn't have to do with anything other than that. That is not the reason you should be choosing your therapist. But this is a reason that a lot of therapy sucks and fails because you get someone for $30 an hour, you're going to get $30 an hour worth of care. Trust me on that one. You get someone because they're cheap, they're probably not trained as well. I'm sorry, but 2 years training versus 22 years training. Is there going to be a difference? Yes, there will be a difference. So these therapist variables are very important. Another one is how well does your personality fit with the therapist's personality? I've done my own therapy over the years, and I think every therapist should, by the way. But I remember going to therapists where I just didn't click with them. I went to one therapist and I was having a really hard time. I was going through a divorce and I was in a fog. And I was so unhappy. And I remember going to the therapy appointment and I was so excited to go see this woman. for therapy because I really needed someone to talk to and help clear my mind. And I went to see her, and her office smelled, okay? It smelled funky. It smelled like an old basement or something. It was a Saturday morning. She dressed casually. So she dressed as if she was going out to the grocery store to get some cereal and some milk for breakfast. And on top of it, I sit down, and she doesn't remember my name from the first phone call. And I see this fluffy dog running around the office. Now, I love dogs, but a dog should not be in your therapy session. It should be you and the therapist. And so the dog is sitting there, not only shedding all over me, okay, and I'm petting the dog and being nice to the dog, but the dog is a distraction from what I'm there for. And she said, "Oh, don't worry, he likes you." Yeah, he likes me, but what if I'm allergic to dogs? And I'm going to anaphylactic shock here in your office while you're dressed in your Saturday worst. That was a therapist variable that could be avoided. So after that short, brief meeting, I kept it briefer than needed. I never went back to see that therapist. You should be going to 2 or 3 therapists and seeing which one you click with the best. And click meaning you feel comfortable with their competency, you feel like they care about you, they're putting time and effort in, they somewhat seem professional. That's a therapist variable thing. This, people, is the number one reason your therapy is not working. Reason number 2 that most therapy sucks is plain and simple. You're not ready for therapy yet. Just because you're feeling like, oh, things suck, I should probably talk to somebody, doesn't mean you're ready for therapy. How do you know if you're ready? Well, if you know you're ready for therapy, you're willing to follow through and get the right therapist and interview several therapists so that you can go and find someone that you click with and that you can develop a trusting relationship with. But you're going to be ready for the pain that you are about to endure as you work through your issues. I had a client years ago who came in because they were depressed. Now, they were depressed, and I said, "How long has this been going on?" And they said, "Well, a lot of my adult life, I felt like this." Immediately, it set off a bell in my head. Most of your adult life, you've been depressed? Well, why are you here now, and what makes you ready to change now? And I said, I don't know. I need to make this change. I'm tired of being depressed. Okay. You're almost ready, but you're not quite ready. I didn't think they were ready because they weren't feeling enough pain. They were comfortable. They were way too comfortable with that moderate level of depression in their life. And there was no impetus to change because they'd lived like that for so long. So we had a long, hard discussion about that, about being ready for change. And I told them to come back when they were ready. And that might sound callous, but you know what? They agreed with me. They came back later when they were ready. Okay, it was months later, but they came back and they said, "You know what? That was one of the best things you could have said to me. I am now ready to move on because I'm sick and tired of this moderate level of depression in my life." So, the number 2 reason, you are not quite ready. Make sure that you are ready to go through all the hard work that you're going to have to go through if you're going to actually do life-changing therapy. Okay, so the third and final reason why most therapy sucks is you aren't fully committed to the process. Change takes time. I always tell my clients when they come in, don't expect this to change overnight. This problem didn't develop overnight, right? Your choice of poor dating partners, this is not a problem that just developed. There's a pattern. There was 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 different partners who fit the same bill. And you kept choosing them over and over again over several years. So it took several years for that pattern to occur and to cause pain for you and make you want to come in and see me. It's not just going to change overnight. So you need to be committed to the process of change. That takes time. That takes you prioritizing your therapy sessions on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis to begin. And putting in the time necessary, just like you would if you were trying to transform your body and lift weights and get stronger, right? You wouldn't just expect to get stronger and to get buff overnight. You would know that it takes time and it takes energy and it takes prioritization, it takes rest, it takes a lot of things. You have to be committed to it. The same thing applies with therapy. These problems have years in their origin, years in their development, and you need to commit, not necessarily years, but if you're willing to work hard, it could be shorter than that, to going the other way, to counter conditioning your life in a better way. So the third reason is an important one. You're not fully committed. So if you are not ready to put in at least good 6 months to a year of hard work of therapy, don't start it. You're going to waste your money. When you are committed, then you will see it through.